How to pursue everybody or actually not? Yeah. Fucking yeah. Hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here again with a pretty great summary that I'm quite looking forward to. You know, every time. Yeah, okay, it's basically the second time I'm going through this one, but it is something that I'm looking forward to. It is something that I really like to do, especially, you know, when it is something to just be excited about. For example, you know, a summary like this, which is the methods of persuasion as a summary from the powermoves.com website. It is, compared to the alanchang.com website, it is fairly short. It really is, but I think it could be enough to really get an overview and a few great insights into the whole book, at my point of view. And we've definitely learned something in the last episode, so please check this one out. There's definitely something you will learn, especially in the really, last section of the whole episode. It was a great episode. It was a really great episode, and I've just really learned things. No, there is no window. I wonder how. I wonder why. Yeah. So the next point is to trigger social pressure. And I'm gonna read. I'm pretty fucking fast today, like really getting into reading. It normally takes me way longer. Maybe because I'm just, kinda unorganized or something. Never mind. I'll just go on reading. So remind people that your desired behavior is the norm. Reveal similarities with your target. Make it seem like you belong to the same group. Use words such as we and us. It would make sense, if you use these words. Once you can position yourself as like the target, you can display the behavior you want the target to assume, and chances are higher they will follow you. Use social norms, group pressure, and rapport to influence your target. Yeah, why not? The problem there is, and this is something that I definitely see right now by actually going through such a quote-unquote short one. It is lacking some, valuable information, is my point of view, because, I'm just put myself in a position that, this person actually kind of either likes me or thinks that I'm a part of his or her group. Makes sense, yeah, but use social norms, group pressure, and rapport to influence your target. How? I know how, and it's, you can somehow figure it out, but it's just, I would like to have it more detailed, to be honest, somehow. Would really be nice. Habituate your message. The more you can repeat your message and familiarize your target with it, the more he will naturally come to like it and accept it. There are several reasons why this is the case. One of them is that as the message becomes more familiar with your target, she's able to recall it and understand it more easily and quickly. And ease and speed become signs for truth and liking. To habituate your target, you can mention the topic or something similar to the topic right before you make your request. If you know is likely to perceive your message unfavorably, you can habituate them in small incremental steps. This was actually now the part with the before the request. This book is basically just categorized in 3 sections. The first one is before the request, which is basically the thing that we've just gone through. What you should actually do to somehow get this person to your request so that you can actually take the request, which is then the part that we are now going through or now going to go through, which is quite about during the request. And afterwards, we'll just talk about after the request. And I hope, the upcoming parts are actually a little bit more detailed and a little bit longer. The thing is, it doesn't necessarily have to be long. It could have just been written. I don't want to say better, because the thing is, it is actually written so good, so everything is fine, there are not too many spelling mistakes and whatsoever, and I can understand this, which is also very important for me. And there are also so many great books on this website, so I really do not want to just judge around or complain around or whatsoever. I remember. Now it's nicer. Because for all the podcast viewers, or actually viewers, you always view a fucking podcast. For all the podcast listeners, I just realized that the towel in the fucking background is again there, which is something I actually do not like to have, because it's way cleaner and way better if there's nothing in the background rather than my fucking closet and a bit of my bed, to be honest. But I guess it's fine. I really guess it is. So during the request, all of what we said before is about Persuasion. Also read Persuasion by Cialdini. And if you do not know Cialdini, I unfortunately do not remember his first name, but he's actually the author of Influence, which is a very, 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 very famous and also just mentioned in this book that is all about behavior and how to actually just also somehow pursue people and all these things. So basically how people behave and how you can change it and how you can understand yourself and your behavior and those things. Like, is it psychology, or isn't it behavioral psychology or something? I think it actually is. Yeah, I think it is. So optimize your message. People judge messages based on cautious and rational analysis, in brackets, systematic processing, or quickly and more haphazardly, in brackets, heuristic processing. This is what Kahneman refers to as fast and slow, which is also a book, and which is also a book that I've gone through. Unfortunately, if I do remember correctly, the summary of the book wasn't too great. Either I haven't gone through it or the summary wasn't that great, but the book itself seems to be very great. It seems to really be a good book and just quite valuable. To be honest, I've seen it so often. Every single book summary website has it somehow. So it, a lot of people read it, and I guess a lot of people found it actually great and nice, because so many website authors, or blog authors, whatever you want to call them, went through this book, and so it seems to be actually kind of nice. So Nick Kolenda, which is actually, or Kolenda, however he is pronounced, which is actually the author of this book, so of the Persuasion kind of book, I do not remember the name. So Nick Kolenda then says that if you know that your target is likely to glance quickly at your message, you should prioritize peripheral cues such as the aesthetics. Is it actually no, it's aesthetics. Aesthetics, the marketing, the look and feel. If you know they're going to analyze it deeply, put moral thought into arguments, logic, and numbers. Which makes sense. They're this kind of person, or it actually seems to be like there's, one side of all the people and there's another side of all the people. One side is more like into how it is, going to be presented, what it is looking like, how it sounds, and all these things, like the surface-based kind of things. And then the other group is really deeply into the whole analytic shit and actually just, taking apart your argument just into every single piece so that they can actually validate if it actually makes sense or not. Which actually seems to be quite great if you would do this. Actually seems to be quite great. To elect heuristic, or it is HEURISTIC, processing, 3 strategies are: increase the complexity of your message, which could actually work. It is quite funny because it somehow sounds so fucking stupid, to be honest, because most of the time actually having a very complex message is the worst thing you can do. And I would say in general, communication is very, 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 very difficult. It is, there are so many just kind of schemes is it schemes? Also, so many kind of artworks, I would say, that actually try to explain how communication is working, but at the end they're very abstract. Like they make sense if you're going through them. If you just are interested in them, they totally will make sense to you. But communication itself is a very difficult and very complex thing, and in every singular way that you're speaking, besides actually this one, for me at least, it seems to be like, okay, having a very, very kind of simple message is the best thing to do. Like if you're presenting someone something and you're using just so complicated language and nobody understands it, they will be like, okay, now go away, we don't need you, we don't understand anything, it wasn't a good presentation. Or if you're in general talking to people, some people will understand you because they're just, high in EQ, or they're just, they're good at the language, which is, different reasons. But here it actually makes sense, because the complexer the whole message is, the whole story is that you're telling this certain person who is actually trying to analyze it deeply, the better, because the longer it takes and the higher the chances that this person is actually not going to do it, or actually is not going to do it as long as actually finding your truthful kind of message that you want to bring out or something. Could actually be true. On another hand, it doesn't have to be so negative, because I've just, I've been telling about this, or I've been talking about this as something negative, but it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. Like, you could also just package it because you know that these people will like it. Period. Like, it will hit them much harder, or it will connect with them much better than if it was just such a simple message and nothing to think about, and so on. And also just the other way around, if you want to just have someone, or if you know someone who is really into the surface thing, like, how the message is presented, how it is feeling like, how it is looking like, and all these things, then actually just, having a great design, having a great speech, having a great presentation as such, like, would just make sense, because they're more interested in it, it is their preferences, it is what they're into, and so on. Enhance their mood or spark their arousal. A smaller font on a good-looking product is also more likely to persuade, as people are more likely to believe you without checking. The difficulty in processing the information is also misattributed to the uniqueness of the product. But if it is a run-of-the-mill product, the font should be bigger, because ease of processing generates familiarity. To optimize your message, use you and ask rhetorical questions like, don't you agree? Isn't it true? And these things, like, of course it is true, but you're still asking them. And I think, as I'm just thinking about it now, and I do just have to slow down a little bit, because I'm just noticing everything is breaking down. Gonna just drink something, I'm sorry. I really have to say, this bottle really just, smells like shit. Not that nice, but still, I was just drinking water, and I'm just so fucking appreciative for this water. I'm so fucking grateful that I'm actually able to drink a fucking bottle of water whenever I want, wherever I want, how much I want. Some people don't have it. It's always about the perspective. Perspective is something so fucking important. It really is. And a lot of people lack it, which is the whole problem about it. So many people are complaining about stupid shit that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I do not have 1,000 followers. Me neither. Or neither, whatever it is. I've just put so much work into this. I've put just so much time in it already. Like, I think it was 6 months. It's still nothing compared to other people, like 8 years for, I think, PewDiePie. He is actually PewDiePie. He has been doing videos, or has been making videos for exactly 8 years now, or even more, maybe 9 years. And it's just enormous. Like, it is just really a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of effort. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, and it's definitely about the perspective of actually putting yourself into such a space, into such a perspective or in such a mood that you actually also recognize things that are not like normal, that, aren't there because they are there. Like, I could be living in a place where there's no water. I could be living in a place where I do not have the ability to just speak into my fucking phone and actually make the podcast or the video. I could be in such a position, but I am not. I'm doing the best with my position I can. Like, before this episode, actually, I was kind of pissed because I do have to learn art history for Monday because I have a test on Monday, and I do not have all the resources because somehow they are in the server on the server in school, and I do not have the ability to actually get them right now, and so therefore I do really just have to wait for some of my colleagues to actually send it to me. And I would like to have them now. And it really pisses me off that I'm not having them. But that's not so bad. Like, it's just some resources. And somebody will send them to me. Maybe I've written down something. This would then be a little bit bad because I've written down something which, might not be there any longer. But there are still other people who write down things like additional to what is actually in these PDFs and in these documents, whatever it will be. But position your best arguments first and last, because the first thing is actually catching you and being like, okay, this makes sense. Then there could be some bullshit like being, okay, this doesn't make any sense. And the last thing, like, wow, this is just amazing and I understand it. And the last one is enhance your attractiveness. Is it about you or is it about the product? I don't fucking know. Drive the momentum. In these chapters, Colenda describes how you should not give monetary or big incentives if you want to keep their goodwill, because it will crowd out intrinsic motivation. Also read Drive. It's all about intrinsic motivation, which is coming from the inside. And it is very important that it is intrinsic motivation. It is not something from the outside. It's not something that's external, because it wouldn't work. Like, external motivation is quite like, there isn't something like external motivation somehow, to really be honest. Because the thing is, how you're really gonna motivate people is actually changing something in their internal system so that they are motivated themselves. You cannot motivate someone else by just telling them. Or they won't get motivated to do something because you told them. Telling them was actually only the kind of trigger that actually turned their internal system or their internal beliefs into such a position, or in such a position that they're actually now passionate about something or motivated about something, and will then also do it. And it's about the internal thing. There still is some external thing, I know, but the internal thing is, what matters. And something I've seen, I think you should have the experience as well. Like, you know about yourself and you know what motivates you, and most of the time it's something, like, it is in you, and it's not because, I don't know, it could be because someone told you, and told you, okay, this is a great thing and whatsoever, but it is internal. It still is. For one-off actions, though, large incentives are fine. Just pay attention, it's not so large that they choke under pressure. Don't make your target feel like you're trying to control them, so avoid the word should. Promote autonomy to let your target choose the reward. Use scarcity, limit time, and availability, which is just, you can see it every single day. It is sales now, and this sale only lasts for the next 2 days. This product is on 50% down, or is 50% down for the next few days, or next even 10 hours. Sometimes, I do not know if you know this, but I think you do. I do think you do. That some sellers or retailers or whatever you want to call them actually have already put a fucking timer or just a countdown or whatever you want to call it onto their website for a singular product, which was on 80% sale or just really really low on the price. And they actually, did it like, okay, we have a countdown, and if this countdown is over, there are no more products that are sold on this price. Or there is the product, but it won't be sold on this exact price. Which is just amazing, I guess. Like, insane nearly, because it is like, okay, you have to act. It is so scary because this product will forever be gone, and I won't be able to buy it any longer. And availability, like, it is actually both. It is really like, okay, if I won't buy it, it will be gone. Maybe. And if I don't buy it, I just have to pay way much or way more. Think twice before giving too many options. The paradox of choice. If you have many options, it's good, but categorize them and chunk them up. Totally makes sense, because people do not like to make decisions. Either it's only me, because I'm not really a good decision taker. I'm really not, but and the thing is, I don't know why. I really don't know why I'm just not really into making decisions. I really don't know. The next thing is sustain compliance. Today is actually a little kind of a crazy mood, a mood that I do not quite understand, to be honest. I'm quite fast. I'm really quite fast. I'm just putting so much energy. I'm not trying to put so much energy into this episode, but something feels different. And something feels not as good as it used to somehow. It is a crazy episode today. And I'm a little bit dizzy, to be honest. I don't know why. That's why I'm just gonna drink something again. From my fucking bottle, it fucking smells like poop. But I won't just, throw that water away. I will just drink it. I will drink it, no matter how this fucking bottle is smelling like. So feature and feelings from one stimulus transfer to another. So you should always strive to create positive association with the action you want your target to perform, or belief you want them to adopt. Nick Callender here goes over the famous Pavlov dog, or Skinner and operant conditioning. I loved Callender's explanation here. And the explanation is, I actually hit my lower teeth with my upper teeth, which is just really shitty. Doesn't feel that great. So the explanation for the Pavlov dog, or Pavlov's dog actually, or the experiment is actually, or the hypothesis, or the thesis is actually called Pavlov's dog or something. Yeah, never mind. So whenever we are presented with a new concept, we can't simply place that concept free, floating in our brain. In order to successfully integrate that new concept into our existing network of knowledge, we need to attach it to an already existing concept via some type of similarity or association. Classical conditioning is effective because it essentially forms a new connection in that network. Other techniques would be metaphors relate to the familiar, and to basic survival like food, which is actually pretty common. Something that I read quite often before that is actually using the main needs of a human being. I think, I guess we've gone through the Maslow's need pyramid already, which is, I guess, it was in the last episode, so from today's, from Wednesday actually, and it is not the same, but it somehow is correlated to each and another, because the main needs, what people are having is food, water, I think safety is it as well, and this is also the main things that people are feared about not to have. Like, it is actually the thing that people fear more, like not having something or losing something, than actually gaining something. This is one of the reasons why we don't lose anything. Like, it is more pain than gaining something, which I don't know why it is actually existing, or actually why it is this way, because, I was just thinking about if it would make sense for nature, like that we're just, feeling so bad when we're losing something or when we are not getting something. But yeah. Leverage good and up positive associations and associate with natural occurring primes, for example, Apple, the brand with the apple. Yeah, and enhance your attractiveness. Once again. And I still don't know if it is about, you and how you look like. The problem that I'm now facing is actually that the summary is quite at its end. It is quite at its end, but I do not want to finish it yet. I do really want to just finish it in another episode, because it's a little too late to finish it, because we would just, go to such a point where, I couldn't just fill a whole episode with one of the things, or with the rest of the whole summary. So therefore, I'm now letting it be it, and just gonna talk about something, and I do not know what. It's really feeling different today, and I think it's really a little bit sad, to be honest, because it is actually feeling like that this episode isn't going to be a good one. I don't actually know why, but it somehow feels this way, which is not that good, which is really not that good, because it's not really satisfying. Maybe it's this. It is kind of really not satisfying, or not as satisfying as, it used to be, or like yesterday or something. I still know that if I'm going to record the second episode for today, which I'm, totally going to do, then everything will be fine. Like, it will be in a few hours. I think I'm going to upload this one and prepare this one fully. And maybe afterwards I just have to learn for school something or whatever. And then I'm going to just, actually make this episode or just, record another episode. So up to this point, I think it should be fine. Everything should be fine. I should not feel kind of dizzy anymore. But yeah, it's okay, I guess. Yeah, I do think actually that this episode is going to be like just normal, not like, okay, it's the best episode I've ever heard. I do just seem to be more energetic, to be a little bit self-reflective and just self-aware. I seem to be way more energetic and way more pumped about actually being in the episode, which is great, which really is great, because having someone who is just talking like this all day long, the whole episode long, and just, explaining this thing, and what, this is a pen, you didn't know that, all right. It's not that nice to watch and nice to listen to as well. I guess, and I'm assuming right now, I don't know, I guess people like to listen to energetic people and have energetic people around. For sure, there may be a YouTuber, there may be a podcaster who's just really like the first type that I just, explained right now, that there for sure is one. And there for sure is also one that is quite famous as well. Or like just successful as well. Even though, I really have to say, it is not about being energetic. It is about, I think, being likable or being you, maybe. Because, sometimes really, like, PewDiePie, he's not always just energized all the time. He's not like just flipping around and like just running in his room or shouting around all the time. Sometimes he is. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you start? I'm just thinking about something. Because it somehow is correlated. Because some people think like, okay, no, I cannot start my own YouTube vlogs and or videos because I would just have to, I have bad lighting, I do not have the equipment, I do not have this and that, I'm not looking as good as I should be, all these kind of stupid things that do not make any fucking sense. Like, start. Just start and talk about things that you actually like. And that's quite it. It really is. But yeah, with that being said, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And still remember how you're gonna be remembered. And now, see you.